IVM.
Going for parties is just so frustrating these days. I mean, your mom will make it a point to come and tell you how her friend's son has secured a house for her, and your wife will also find out that her sister's husband is taking her on a foreign holiday. While you're wondering why you're the only one who doesn't have a plan for the damn future. That's why I never sleep well during the festive time. Unless www.hdfclife.com. Select. Done. You know what? I think I'll sleep rather well after all. Live calm. With HDFC Life, click to protect life. The Income Plus option offers life cover and steady income stream, so you're always ready for any expenses that life throws at you. Basically, this plan lets you plan your expenses like you plan your vacations. It's that simple. Visit hdfclife.com to know more and for terms and conditions.
Here's your smart fact of the day. I guess by now everyone must have seen Shark Tank India. Did you know that Shark Tank, the US version, is an American business reality television series that premiered on 2009, August 9, 2009. And the funny thing is that by itself is an American franchisee of something called Dragon's Den, which was originally done in Japan as Money Tigers. Wow, so many different names, right? Tigers, dragons, sharks. What the hell? I wonder what we should rename Shark Tank India if we have to. Welcome to Smarter With Sid, and today's episode is all about looking at Shark Tank India's initial promise and how it's done, and I think what it's making us all do in terms of being an entrepreneur. I must say I had a lot of trepidations, if that's the word, for Shark Tank India. I was wondering whether it would, live up to all the hype and the expectations. And I was wondering, and after seeing a few episodes, and especially episode 21, which I recently saw, and specifically that segment which talked of, those entrepreneurs, which showcased those entrepreneurs who wanted to do the go away ice cream, I must say I am a convert. And the reason why I'm a convert is because I just love the way in which the sharks who were interested in the whole enterprise leapt up to make investments. But more than that, I like the way in which Anupam Mittal actually stood back from making an investment. And that was so nice because I'd actually interacted with Anupam way back, I think probably around 15 years or more than 15 years now, in which I was doing some strategy and user experience work for his social network site called Fropper. Yeah, that's how long this association was. And Anupam was kind enough to actually interact with us at that point in time. He was growing, as was the rest of India and its .com movement, and Shadi.com was becoming a big success. I'd found Anupam very interesting as an individual and somebody who was genuinely encouraging people to become entrepreneurs. In fact, one of the things that we had done was interact with him on developing our own interactive agency at that point in time, which we were in discussion with him. And he was so encouraging of us that he said that, look, even if you don't want to, give me stake or equity in the business, I'd give you a personal loan because I believe in this team and I believe in what you're doing. That was so sweet of him. Unfortunately, that venture never took off for a variety of reasons. But the fact is that Anupam had left a very strong impression on me at that point in time. He came across as a measured person, somebody who was choosing his words very carefully, as well as being encouraging. Now, that's a tough act to follow. I saw him do the same thing on Shark Tank's India's latest episode, and it was where he said, look, I would love to make an investment in Gove, which was the protein ice cream venture that mother and son had come across and were doing. But I believe that there is somebody else who is more qualified than me and more enthusiastic than me in order to put in that equity. And he actually told the entrepreneurs to go for the other sharks offer or something around those lines. Now, that's what I consider being somebody who's like a true supporter of all things entrepreneurial. The ability to look beyond yourself and the deal that you want to get makes Anupam perhaps more of a dolphin rather than a shark. And in fact, all of those so called sharks in Shark Tank India came across as friendlier mammals or animals than what Shark Tank actually makes us believe. Sure, it was something wherein it is a show. It is supposed to be cutthroat. It is supposed to be, drawing comments from all the so-called sharks over there to make, contestants squirm and also, be very, very specific and fantastic in their offering. But more than that, what I saw was the beginning of a movement wherein entrepreneurs are being encouraged to go beyond a job and actually look at trying to be an entrepreneur. Now, I want to compare and contrast this sort of wonderful initiative that Shark Tank India is to the kind of experiences I've had as somebody who has headed a panel in MICA. This panel was and is currently doing a similar thing wherein a jury comes at the end of 6 months and judges students for their development from an idea through to a prototype, business model, and plan, and maybe even product. And what we found is over, uh, I think, over perhaps a decade now, or close to a decade now, and probably close to over 500 people who have been mentored through the system, is it is a tough grind to actually get people to believe in themselves. In fact, the people don't typically end up after MICA doing their venture that they have developed so beautifully across the 6 months that they have been trying to develop it. And that's for a very specific reason. The reason is because they are there to get a job at the end of, their 2 years at MICA. And they perhaps have got student debt. And even though they might want to do their venture, they are not really looking for doing that immediately after letting you know letting go of their college and into the world of work. Now, you could be cynical and you could say, look, that means that they were just doing this as a project. And trust me, there are a lot of students who do it only as a project, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there are some who end up doing their ventures later on, or maybe even do some different ventures later on, which just means that they wanted to be an entrepreneur. The timing was right by then. And I've seen people like Nikhil Saraf, or even Akash Sachdev, and so many more people who have gone through this entire process end up with some ventures that they can be justifiably proud of. Now, when people actually end up doing this entire rigmarole of starting off with an idea and making something out of it in 6 months, they realize that being an entrepreneur is not just about having an idea or just about having a product or anything of that sort. It requires so many different factors to come together, like team and the kind of timing that your idea has, and so many different things, right? In fact, if you compare and contrast this group with people who just have an idea, who do approach professors like me saying, sir, I have an idea, or hey, I think I want to do something around this, but end up doing nothing. And it ends up being like the Ted Mosby character in, How I Met Your Mother, who actually just goes out and says, dude, we should start a bar. And to be honest, just because you enjoy drinking in a bar doesn't mean that you're going to enjoy yourself running a bar or running an operational franchise around a bar. In fact, I call all of these guys not entrepreneurs, but entrepreneurs. They want to be entrepreneurs. They're wannabe entrepreneurs, but actually, all they'll end up doing is keep having those drinks, be in those bars, and just have ideas that they write down on paper. Real, true entrepreneurs are the ones who actually have put this idea into some kind of action, and they may not necessarily be really big or huge to begin with, or they may end up being lifestyle businesses, but there is some beauty and joy to all the hard work and sacrifices that these entrepreneurs put. And it is to that this Shark Tank India, appeals the most to a person like me, because what is happening is that a different avenue is being created to typical corporate land, wherein people can get encouraged to do their ventures The only thing that I might say is that all these ventures are trying to become businesses in their own right, with or without Shark Tank India, the program. It's not as if they're waiting for funding for suddenly their idea to become magical and good. And I think that is the beautiful aspect of it. Because I would say eventually funding, it cannot be a metric. Funding has to be some looked upon as something that allows you to reach your true metrics of connecting and becoming a business. Well, so many more lessons, right? So many more lessons that can come through when we see Shark Tank India episodes. You can get inspired. You can get, all those new ideas. You can feel empathy towards the participants as well as the sharks, mind you, as well as the sharks. And I would say that all in all, I think it's time for us not to criticize Shark Tank India, but to praise it, because it is opening up something completely new and different in our country. On that happy note, I'd like to say that I hope you like this episode of mine of Smarter with Sid. And if you like this podcast, please subscribe to this podcast. Just push the like button and make sure that if you like podcasts like these, do go and check out all the other stuff IVM has got. And hey, if you like what I'm doing, or if you want to follow me, I'm there very much on Instagram and on LinkedIn as the Traveling Professor. On that happy note then, on that happy note.
Hi, I'm Rohan Joshi, and on my podcast, the show about crypto, I've been having some pretty cool conversations with industry experts about what exactly cryptocurrency is and what makes it so exciting. If you haven't already, please check it out on the IVM Podcasts Network. Now, a quick shout out to my fellow crypto heads. We've got a listener survey going on, which will take not more than 10 minutes of your time to fill out. So please check the link in the description and help me out by filling it up. Don't forget to tune into a show about crypto on the IVM app and wherever you get your podcasts from.
Hey everybody, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Storytellers and Storytellers, Vineet talks to music producer Kabir Katpalia. He shares what it was like making music for the film Gerhaiya. On Think Fast, Varun and Suchita are in conversation with Front Row's Ishanpreet Singh. He tells us about all there is to know about the subscription model. On The Wire Talk, Siddharth talks to author Pramod Kapoor about his new book, 1946 Royal Indian Navy Mutiny, The Last War of Independence. On Postcards from Nowhere, Utsav traces the legacy of Sindhis and tells us why crocodiles are important to them. And on Say No to Drama, Chetna deconstructs growing up but not growing apart in a relationship. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. The word of mouth really helps. Also, don't forget to rate us on whatever platform you're listening to us, and check us out on YouTube. You can check a list of all our channels at ivmpodcast.com/YouTube. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Bank of Baroda and HDFC Life Insurance. Thank you so much for making this possible.